Are you struggling to push through a yard? Do you not know how to exec B site? Do you look at mid and think, what the hell am I supposed to do here? If you want to win more games on Corrode and get ahead of your opponents, stay tuned because I'll show you how to dominate on the attack side of Corrode. So far, I've been really enjoying Corrode since its release. There's been a lot of discourse and concerns about its number of pockets of space and corners to clear, plus its paper-thin walls, but a lot of people are thinking about it all wrong. Just shift your perspective a little bit and treat them as design features rather than design flaws. Every map should be played differently, otherwise what's the point of having different maps? Corrode trades open lanes for tight pockets of spaces with twists and turns and makes you feel really congested. The map feels quite mazy, but the thin walls and maziness of the map work together. It's more of a symbiotic relationship. If it was all paper and no pockets, there would be nowhere to play. If it was all pockets and no paper, it would be a fortress. And if it was no paper and no pockets, you end up with breeze, and nobody wants that. A site being the most poignant example of this design. It's a completely enclosed site, but 3 of its 4 walls are heavy penetrable. Yes, this is helpful for defenders defending a yard with some spam assistance, but it goes both ways. Spamming is a two-way street. You can spam them back, and it becomes more favorable for attackers when they take a site and can spam retake in the diffuser. If you're feeling like you don't have enough options on the map, try and get out of that old school TAC FPS mindset of smoke, flash, entry. Valorant has more layers and options of utility. Recons are obviously very highly valued, but things like stuns and slows can do more than what you think. It doesn't mean flashes don't have their place, but they aren't the be-all and end-all of creating engagements. So let's dig into the meat and potatoes of how to play Corrode.
Let's dig in.
These videos take a long time to make, so I'd love it if you could subscribe and leave a like and comment what you'd like to see next. And just to let you know, I will be using some callouts which you might not be familiar with. You can find them on my Patreon, where I've got a 1-pager for every agent. The free sample version has a callouts map. I already mentioned a yard, so let's dive a little deeper into that. But first, we'll zoom out into a general A push. A standard A push is one of the most complex site hits that you have in the game. It can be broken into 4 main objectives: take A main, take A yard, take elbow, take site. Compare that to B site, and it's take B main, take B site. Because of the complexity of a full A push, you do get advantage in the A main fight. You can get onto the line first, you can throw utility over this wall, you can play anti-flash behind this wall, and it's wide enough for you to play anti-stun as well. But generally, attackers should have a really easy time taking control of A main. But then you can have a much trickier time taking control of A yard. This could be one of the trickiest fights on the map for attackers, especially as a ranked team. As we push out, presumably through a smoke, we have so many on angles to worry about in a full 180 degrees of space. Not to mention the countless off angles that defenders can play in and all the different options for cover that they have. This is one of the best places to have a flash in the game, but even so, if we were to flash perfectly in the best spot every time, it has to travel so far out of the smoke that it's easy to dodge. And it still doesn't even hit everyone. You can pop flash out of the smoke, but anyone playing behind cover will recover in time to take the fight anyway. So obviously we need more than just one piece of util. What kind of util can we use to solve this problem and take a yard? Just like every other space in Valorant, there's effectively 3 ways that we can do things. Option number 1, zone denial and catalytic utility. Stuns, slows, anything that makes it hard for defenders to move and fight back. If you've watched any kind of aim guide, you would know that movement is an integral mechanic for gunfights in Valorant. While flashes and near sights can take away aim, slows and stuns can take away movement, making it feel like you're swinging into a sitting duck, or preventing your opponent's teammates from being able to swing and trade them out. And if you have the option, you can use damaging util to clear the space without even needing to fight it. There's plenty of mollies and damaging abilities that can help you clear out pocket. And if you get these down first, you're going to force defenders out from cover and into the open where they can be easily flashed. For maximum value, place your column util here to clear a line all the way up to short. Option 2, get info. For example, server drones out into a yard for info, finds out if defenders are holding it and where they are. Now you can be more specific with your util placement rather than gambling for general coverage. And then you've got your third main option, which is instead of wanting to fight them, you stop them from fighting you. The most obvious example of that is using smoke cover. If you don't have enough util to cover this giant space, or if you don't have the information to know exactly where defenders are and tailor your util to their positions, smoking off some positions will be a very efficient way to help you get out. If you just want to go fast and force your way through, smoking off everything to your left and focusing on pocket is going to be the simplest way to do it. If you're in an environment where you can have a bit more coordination, or your team's liking to play a little bit slower, you can smoke off pocket, take kinky and short, and now you're at the edge of sight. We can push into sight with our short control, control, but it's a pretty awkward push if you don't take elbow first. You're swinging around from a single angle into everywhere on site effectively. And if you don't push defenders out of elbow, you're going to have a pretty tricky time as their rotates come in. As help arrives from A link and tank, elbow defenders can wrap around to yard to create a crunch, or they can flood into site. It gives the defenders a lot of options in the retake that they're not going to have if you fully take control of everything. So once you have control of short, be sure to send at least one person through elbow, because once you have that, A site is a fortress. One of the best ways to clear through here is behind a deployable like Boombot or Prowler that can cover all of the angles as you push through and use it to trade out. And your fourth and final objective, obviously, taking site and holding it for post plant. If you want to keep things simple, smoke off tank completely so that you can flood into site. But if you want to have the best post plant possible, then smoke off crane, clear site as you crunch it from short and elbow together, then take control of tank. If you get full tank control, you have a ridiculous crossfire that defenders have to get through before they even get close to site. Then you just have to be worried about flanks from A link and main. Holding flank from pocket is great if you have an angle on the spike from elbow, because you can hold both main and link and then push into elbow to stop the defuse as needed. If spike is planted on the edge of short, then you can hold from main. If you've got it tripped, easy peasy to hold link. If main flank is open, you just have to be a bit more careful and make sure you're watching both lanes. A really solid and simple setup looks like this. Short holds link, pocket swings off contact. Pocket holds main, short swings off contact. Elbow holds crane, short can come to support, and you can create a crossfire with the pocket player. Now, if you're really struggling with getting elbow control, your alternative is just to push up short. Smoke off pocket, smoke off tank when you push into site. If you have short and link, you're going to have a lot of pressure towards A, and you can even pivot out towards B. And if you have Sage, you can even go for an icebox style plant and play a spam heavy post off site. And it would be remiss of me to not mention Viper when talking about A side of this map. There's a very easy setup for your wall across short and tank, and then your orb for pocket. Put both up, scale out into yard, put down the side that you want to push, and then you've got your wall to smoke off tank in the retake. Because of how segmented this space becomes with this setup, you now have a true lurk threat on A as well. Taking yard is hard, but you don't have to do it all at once. Take it one step at a time. Moving in towards mid, pay attention because this part of the map is so important. I know that's the case for a lot of maps, but here it's crucial. From flowers, you can get to half wall without being seen or heard, not factoring in util, which means if you move fast enough, you can get an isolated fight in A link. Aside from the actual sites, this is the single most important space you can have control of on the map. Having A link makes taking A yard infinitely easier, creates an imminent threat to hitting A. Look how close you are to the edge of sight at short. I can almost sniff it. Smells delicious. And you can pivot into B by holding this A link control, either by scaling up mid or swinging around to B main. Now, if you want to start mid, whether that's to go A link or B link, or just have control of the mid part of the map, where am I meant to put my smokes, I hear you ask? Window, arch, half wall? Well, it depends what you want to do. Each of these three smoke positions has their own value. Smoking window blocks the early long line. Only do this if you plan to go for a fast B split. All the duelists with movement abilities can get up here rather quickly. Yoru is marginally slower but has the advantage of completely skipping the A-link fight and still having a gate crash to play with. Smoking the arch is great for default control, but you have to be aware that defenders can beat you to half wall if everyone's running at the same speed. So to secure this space, you're going to need to throw info utility, stuns, something to prevent defenders from getting there. But if you do manage to get control of mid, it stagnates the defensive rotates because they don't know which side to go to, because splitting through A and B are both viable attacking options. If you just want to sit in mid and let the pressure build, you have all of these corners that you can sit in to create crossfires and play anti-flash and punish any defenses trying to retake the space from you. And if you want to go fast through A link to A, smoking half wall is the way to go. You'll likely want to invest your first bit of util to support that A link fight. If you can't guarantee denying half wall from defenders, you may as well smoke it off. If you smoke and push it immediately, you can beat defenders to it, and you of course have the option to flash through the smoke into top mid. Cypher's cage is a great option here because it gives you a noise cue if defenders trying to aggro through that cage as you get into A link. Viper also deals with mid very well. If you have a double controller set up and you want to put your wall mid, you can transform the dynamics of this space with her wall going across like so. You can push all the way up, isolating your angles and taking those timing fights. Just quickly before we get into B-side, I'd like to let you know I've partnered up with Gosu Academy to provide playbooks for their 10-mans program. So if you want to take your game to the next level and get some coached 10-mans practice in, my affiliate link is in the description. If you do sign up, let me know how you go. For taking B-side, it's important to be ready to contest B main. And that's because defenders will arrive to the first contested angle before you. And you don't want to give away a free first blood. So make sure you use something like a stun or a flash for this angle to secure it. When execing site, unless you're playing Brimstone or Harbor, and if if you have that tidal wall down pat, I kid you not, you have to be like a master chef to consistently hit this wall. For any other controllers, you're going to have to choose to leave something open because there's 3 entrances to smoke. Heaven is definitely getting smoked always, so it's either B-Link or elbow. The only time you can leave heaven open is if you 100% can guarantee that it's clear and you have someone who can get up there to take the space. So that leaves you with B-Link or elbow. Most of the time you should be smoking B-Link. Leaving elbow open is fine because it's actually very feasible to push in and take elbow as part of your exec. It's super valuable in post plan, and if defenders are rotating from A, it's going to take them a long time to get there, giving you a bit of room to take control before they arrive. Whereas if you leave link open, defensive rotates will likely be there in time to trade you out, and they even have an angle to side entrance. Plus, look at the difference in pushing these 2 spaces. Elbow is a single corner, only cover is this box, and you swing into another single corner. The only thing that defenders get is this split level enabling a high-low, but you can also swing high-low using trunks. Whereas B-Link, you go into a straight up crossfire and a contact swing. There's so many additional variables that get introduced when you have to leave an entrance unsmoked, which is why you might want to lean towards a double controller setup or agents from other classes who can assist with blocking vision. For example, if you have a Cypher or Phoenix on your team, you can smoke Heaven and Elbow and have them cover B-Link with their wall or cage. Not everything is a clean exec though. What if you're in the mid round and you only have 1 smoke left and you're forced to go B? I've got one little trick for you. It works especially well with Astra because of the extra smoke size that she has, but Brim, Ohm, and Clove can all do this as well. Smoke this corner of hut. It'll block Heaven and it will one-way off any backside players as you come through main. You can apply the same kind of smoke on the other corner if you're coming in through link. With all of that considered, duelists, your pathing can make a big difference to your team's success on B. Your less mobile teammates can get to on-site cover pretty quickly via cubby and trunks. So to keep them in the fight, your primary pathing should be to get down the ramp towards hut where they can trade you out if needed. Because of this, initiators, I want you to focus your util towards this part of the site so your duelists can clear danger and wrap around hut. This will prevent anyone from B-Link being able to flood in. And as you wrap around hut, you can crunch anyone playing in the pit and push towards elbow. If you just dive backside straight away, you'll put yourself into an untradeable crossfire. And it's far less likely that that goes well. The exception being when you can deny that crossfire. But plant spots in front of hut is going to be the safest from any spam, and I'd recommend it as the default plant. I think most players will lean to planting inside hut because it feels safer, but it's spammable from heaven, elbow, B-Link, even on top of hut you can spam through. The strongest plant is probably going to be in front of trunks here, where it's spammable from literally everywhere. And you can play offsite post in B main, where you get a massive angle advantage fighting over the mini wall. Lurking is very high risk, high reward on Corrode. Lurking through B site unassisted is quite difficult. Defenders can be holding from so many different angles, including B link. They can see the B main entry, but still have a late fast rotation to A through A link. Trying to lurk through yard is really hard with all of the angles that you have to worry about. But if you can get past it, finding timings from elbow onwards is relatively straightforward. Most of the time, as a sentinel or lurker, you're going to be better off holding space for your team rather than trying to infiltrate. Exception to the rule here is Viper, who completely transforms the dynamics of lurking on the map. But if you're anyone not named Viper, holding space and cutting rotates is the primary game plan. Cutting off mid rotates into A link from this spot on bottom mid is hella good and hard to clear out for defenders, and it's a short path to site once you need to get a wriggle on to help in the post plant. You can also get on top of the boxes from the snow pile, so you can hold from this side as well. Varying your timing and pathings is important for maximizing your value when you're playing this one out kind of role. So pushing up into these hidey holes is a great way to catch defenders out if they are expecting you to be playing more passive down bottom mid or in main. Just make sure you crouch if you're sitting behind this box. You don't want to get spotted from someone at stairs. I'll go into more details about defaulting in my future Premier playbook on Patreon. You should definitely go and become a free member and consider joining as a paid member. We're celebrating the release of Corrode and giving 50% off your first month if you use the code Corrode when you sign up. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, you might want to check out our other video guides on this channel or the Patreon content, and let me know below what agent, map, comp, game concept you would like to see a guide for next.